Welcome children to Geography with Juliana, and we are studying Chapter 3 Physiography and Drainage, and this is our third video. In the last video we studied two important physiographic divisions of India, namely the northern mountains or Himalayas and the northern plains, also called as the North Indian plains. Today we are going to discuss the third important physiographic division, and that is the peninsular plateau. The peninsular plateau is a triangular landmass tapering towards the south and protruding into the Indian Ocean. This plateau comprises of a series of plateaus and mountains. So let's get more familiar with this plateau, with this peninsular plateau region, mostly also called as the Deccan Plateau, or the Deccan Trap, because it's formed by the outpouring of lava through fissure eruptions, and made up of mainly igneous rocks, that is the basalt rocks. Now, talking about the boundaries of this plateau, to the northwest you have Aravallis, and to the northeast you have the Ch.3 Plateau. To the east you have the broken ranges of the eastern Ghats, followed by the eastern coastal plain. To the west you have the western Ghats, also called as Sahyadris, followed by the western coastal plain. In the center of this plateau, dividing the plateau into two divisions, northern and southern plateau, we have the Vindhyas and the Satpura ranges. In the northern part of the plateau, that is to the north of the Vindhyas, we have a series of plateaus. Remember, in the first activity we have named these plateaus. Do you remember some of them? Yes. At the foothills of Aravallis we had Mewad, then we had Malwa, Bundelkhand, Bagelkhand and Chota Nagpur Plateau. Here we have the Vindhyas, followed by Narmada, followed by Satpura, followed by Tapi. The southern part of this plateau, also called as the Deccan Plateau or the Deccan Trap, is normally made up of basalt rocks, as I have just explained to you. Moreover, depending on the location, they are divided into Maharashtra Plateau, the Karnataka Plateau, the Telangana Plateau. And it mainly covers the state of Maharashtra, Karnataka, a little part of Tamil Nadu, but mainly it's called as Karnataka Plateau, and the Andhra Telangana Plateau. So these were some of the divisions. Now Aravallis, here we need to note that these are oldest fold mountains. If you remember, we spoke about Himalayas, and Himalayas are young fold mountains, but Aravallis are oldest fold mountains, now remained as residual mountains. So these are the divisions of the peninsular plateau. Then we come to the next division, which is called as the coastal plains. Now we need to understand there is an activity here on page 16, which we need to complete on the basis of figure 3.1. So you have to refer to your map on that is 3.1 and answer the following questions. So just a minute, we'll have to take our previous map here. The first question is, in which direction do the Aravallis lie? Now Aravallis lie in the north-south or south-north direction, but precisely speaking they are not north-south. They are south-west to northeast. So their direction is from southwest, that is here, southwest towards northeast. The next question is, Aravalli ranges act as a water divide between which rivers? Now Aravallis, though they are stretching from north to south, we don't have eastward and westward flowing rivers. We have more of eastward flowing rivers and southward flowing rivers. For example, river Luni is southward. We don't have westward flowing rivers from this particular mountain of Aravallis. So the rivers can be divided as east flowing and south flowing. Name the hills located on the plateaus to the east of Aravallis. Now in your map, okay, that is 3.1, if you look out on page 14, okay, you find Kaimur Hills in the east here somewhere. Okay, so look out. I had asked you to take a picture and blow it up. So you need to look out for those Kaimur Hills over there, which you will find in the east, okay, northeast of this plateau region. Across which states has the Deccan Plateau spread? The Deccan Plateau has, I had just explained to you, you'll get the answers in my video that I have just explained. It spreads in the state of Maharashtra. Okay, so it spreads in the state of Maharashtra, Karnataka and Telangana. Then the next question, also Andhra, you may write even Andhra, Telangana, Andhra. Which hill ranges lie to the west of the Deccan Plateau? So to the west of Deccan Plateau, you have the Western Ghats, also called as Sahyadris. Now these questions on page 17 will take you to our next physiographic divisions, okay, that is the Ghats and the coastal plains. So you need to understand them well. The next question is enumerate the characteristics of the Western Ghats. Okay, now we know that the Eastern Ghats are bordering the eastern side of the plateau and the Western Ghats are bordering the western side of the plateau. Now they have not given us any description about the Eastern or the Western Ghats, but we need to understand these Ghats, okay? And I will take it in comparison because the next question is enumerate the characteristics of the Western Ghats and compare the Eastern and the Western Ghats. So we will combine these two questions. Now what you notice is that the Eastern Ghats are broken hill ranges, while the Western Ghats are more or less continuous. Not to say there are no gaps, there are gaps in between. For example, Palghat Gap, okay, or Palghat Pass, and you can surf the net to find out more about the gaps in these Western Ghats. But compared to Eastern Ghats, Western Ghats are more continuous. The Eastern Ghats are running parallel to the Bay of Bengal, while the Western Ghats are running parallel to the Arabian Sea. The Eastern Ghats are stretching in the states of Orissa, Andhra Pradesh and a little bit of Tamil Nadu, while the Western Ghats are stretching in the states of Maharashtra, Karnataka and Kerala. Okay, besides these, I'll show you two pictures over here. The Western Ghats are tall mountains, huge lofty mountains. Okay, and they have scarp-like faces. So they are sharp and they have scarp-like faces. But the Eastern Ghats are smaller mountains, mainly rounded mountains or rounded hills, and they are mostly eroded. Can you tell me why these Eastern Ghats are more or less eroded? Okay, because the plateau, which I forgot to mention there, the plateau slopes. If you look at the rivers on this plateau region, most of the rivers are flowing eastwards. Okay, so the plateau is flowing eastwards, the plateau is sloping eastwards. So most of the rivers are flowing eastward and they have eroded these Eastern Ghats, and therefore they are now more or less like broken ranges. The Western Ghats act as a major water divide because it's from here that most of our east flowing rivers and few of our swift west flowing rivers originate. On the other hand, there are not major rivers originating in the Eastern Ghats. In fact, the Eastern Ghats are the Eastern Ghats have been eroded because of these east flowing rivers. Okay, so that's the major characteristics as well as the differences between the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats. These are small rounded hills, which is quite contrast to the scarp-like faces of the Western Ghats. Okay, and with that we end the introduction to the Ghats. Though Ghats are not mentioned as a separate division here, but we need to understand that Eastern and the Western Ghats form a specific or a distinct physiographic divisions, and To the east of the Eastern Ghats, we have now the coastal plain. So this takes us to the coastal plains, that is the fourth physiographic division of India. And to the west of the Western Ghats, you have the western coastal plains. We will also study these plains in comparison, because normally we need to understand the comparative account of these physiographic divisions. So we will study comparative account of eastern and the western coastal plain. The eastern coastal plains are running parallel to the Bay of Bengal, and the western coastal plains are running parallel to the Arabian Sea. Looking at the width of these two plains, barring this Gujarat plain, look at the plains here. They are very narrow plains. On the other hand, the eastern coastal plains are much broader. Eastern coastal plains are formed by the deposition of the alluvium brought about and deposited by the east flowing rivers. On the other hand, the western coastal plains have spurs. Now what are these spurs? These are, if you remember, we have the lofty Sahyadris over here, and these jut out as spurs. These are land which jut out right up till the coast. So that's major, again another distinctive feature of the western coastal plain. They are fertile, but not as broad and fertile as the eastern coastal plain. The eastern coastal plains have more of delta regions. If you remember, there are many rivers. In the next chapter, we'll be studying rivers. So there are many delta regions here. But in the western coastal plain, there are estuaries. For example, the Thane Creek or the Thane estuary. Now, what is an estuary? We know that normally rivers empty their water in the sea. But during high tide, the sea water enters the river, and the length up to which the sea water enters is called as a creek. So the western coastal plains have more of these creeks, while the eastern coastal plains have more of the deltas. Therefore, the eastern coastal plain are shallower. The water here is also shallower. So these are shallow plains, while these, here the sea is also steep. Because first reason is because there were spurs over here, so they are a little higher. And moreover, there are no deltas formed, and therefore the sea here is very deep. But to the eastern coastal plain, the sea also is much shallower. So these are some of the divisions of the western and the eastern coastal plains. So there could be a reason why deltas are formed on the eastern coastal plain. Why are they not formed on the western coastal plain? So there you will have to explain that the plateau slopes eastwards, and therefore most of the east flowing rivers have deposited large amount of sediments in this region, forming large amount of deltas. Then here this is a picture of the eastern and the western coastal plains. I've also taken an aerial view of the eastern and western coastal plains. A few more aerial view. Now, this is not in your textbook, but just for your knowledge. The western and eastern coastal plains have got certain names depending, just as we spoke about the plateau. We have Maharashtra plateau, Karnataka plateau, Telangana, Andhra plateau. Similarly, even the coastal plains have got names, and they are divided into, here you have the Gujarat coast, that is Kutch and Kathiawar region. You have the Konkan coast. Mainly the coastline of Maharashtra and Karnataka. Yesterday the Nisarg, you heard about the cyclone Nisarg, which hit this Konkan coast here. Then we have the Kerala coast, which is called as the Malabar coast. These are the names. We have Gujarat coast, the Konkan coast, and Malabar coast in the west. And to the east, I'll shift this. To the east, you have the Utkal coast on the Orissa. region, Orissa coast, the Andhra coast, that is in Andhra Pradesh, and Coromandel coast in Tamil Nadu. Also for differences, okay, you can in fact write the states in which the eastern and the western coastal plains stretch. Not necessary to mention the names, but you can say the eastern coastal plain stretches in the state of Orissa, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. Okay, on the other hand, the western coastal plain extends in the state of Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka and Kerala. So that could be another difference, okay, for these eastern and the western coastal plain. These are the paddy fields, paddy cultivation on the coastal plains, eastern as well as western coastal plains. Rice is cultivated. Okay, the western coastal plain is more rockier compared to the eastern coastal plain. Eastern coastal plains have more of deltas, so they are more fertile, but the western coastal plains have more of beaches, okay, and more rockier coast. So with this we end this. Okay, let me just explain to you what is a cape. We spoke about the peninsular region, triangular landmass protruding into the water body. Now the tip of this peninsular plateau is very narrow, okay, and a narrow land protruding into the water body here, Indian Ocean, is called as a cape. And if you remember, the southernmost tip of the peninsular plateau or the mainland India is the Kanyakumari. So Kanyakumari lies here in Cape Comorin. However, don't forget, the southernmost tip of India is in the islands, Andaman and Nicobar Islands, okay, and there it is called as Indira Point. Okay, so with this we end with the peninsular plateau, the Ghats and the coastal plains. In the next video we will be discussing about the island groups. Okay, so till then, wish you good luck, keep on studying and all the very best. Bye bye, take care and God bless you.